pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Morning, Jack John.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda that includes the minutes from July 1. Is there any additions or corrections to them?
Nothing.
We also have a permit report from planning and zoning, the treasurer's report, sheriff's report, jail report, and recorders. And are there any additions or corrections or to the agenda?
Anything else? Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Any liquor licenses, Amber?
Yep, we have two today. They're both a special 5-day Class C retail alcohol license, both for special events at Hillsdale Lily Garden. One is on July 12th and one is on July 5th. The same, it's Midwest Mixers, and they did they had it last time.
Is that their, is that a travel Iowa event or something that I saw that they're?
It might be.
they're having?
I would make a motion to approve the two, are they liquor license or beer permits or?
They're just alcohol license Class
Okay,
C.
alcohol license.
Let's see. I will second that motion. Got a motion and a second to approve the two 5-day liquor licenses, July 12th and 15th for Hillsdale Lily Gardens. Midwest Mixers, is that what you called it?
Yep.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, Mr. Jack.
Staying.
Motion carries. Any public comment? Oh, Mr. Joe. Okay, Board of Supervisors meeting updates. I didn't have anything last week, so mine's short.
Had a conservation meeting last week. Pretty good. Came in under $20,000 in their budget. Was able to get a few projects done that wasn't planned on due to some extra insurance money. So that's pretty good. Then yesterday went down to Fremont County and picked up the last things from the Fremont County former public health office fridge and a vaccine freezer. Brought that up to Sydney, so they should be ready to go here shortly.
I have nothing to report.
Any good stuff down there that you hold back or? The Fremont County?
Just that big fridge and freezer and then a few tables and stuff. Radios. We still have a shed out back that Clint's gonna try and get secondary roads to get, but I don't think that's gonna happen. It's quite big.
Good. Mr. Jacob, you are up.
Right. One thing I have on the list today is resolution 2510. We passed this a while ago. It's for the railroad Kelting Ave closure, the crossing. We want to amend this in our original resolution. We had down at the bottom where it says the roads department would put the proper barricades up at a minimum 50 feet from the rail tracks. We want to go put that, measure out 50 feet. And on the west side, this is where we're primarily talking. There's a lot of truck traffic still in feed energy. And where it measures out, if we put it there, we know it's just not gonna last very long. So we did reach out to the BNSF and said, hey, can we put this closer? It seems like it would be abided by more, the public, and it's not gonna get taken out by the trucks. So yeah, right there on the west side. If you
West side?
measured, yeah, if you measured 50 feet from the
Oh, I'm with
tracks,
you. Okay. Which
they
track?
use that to turn around a lot, that nearest track.
Okay.
You go there, out 50 feet. They use that whole area to turn around.
Okay.
And we talked to BNSF and they said they actually have little right of way right there, so. They said they'd be comfortable with us moving it just 10 feet off the track. And that way it's up closer to the track. It's not gonna get taken out by the turn traffic. It's not gonna be in the railroad way. So the amendment is just rewording of the resolution saying no less than 10 feet from the nearest rail. With this, we have all the materials ready to go, and we can put up those barricades. Once we get the barricades set up, the east side's already done, then we can submit to the railroad and to the DOT for reimbursement. So 15,000.
Yeah, I would make the motion to approve resolution 2510 as it has been amended. Move barricades to a 10-foot limit.
I changed the date on that one.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2510 Celtic Avenue Railroad crossing closure. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Let's do a roll call.
Oh, okay,
Crouch,
yes.
Mayberry,
Yes,
Sayers.
Yes.
motion carries. Thank you. Any general discussion for Mr. Jacob?
State Built was supposed to start grinding out on his 12th today. They texted us last night, they're moving equipment, but they're not starting yet, so not exactly sure if it's gonna be later this week or whatnot. 400th Street Bridge, we're just waiting on the dirt contractor to show up. There's 10 working day contract, so the road should be open within 2 weeks. If they can get in there, it's probably only maybe 2 days of work they have left. So right now, they're not even there this week. We're just waiting on the set to get there, so we are in the final stage.
Good.
So nothing else much to report. Next week, gonna get down and do the inspections on the RV parks. Plan to do that. The water was coming up. They kind of were in the consolidation phase and the water went back down, so.
Yep. Most initiatives up last night.
Where was we hired a new patrol operator and stuff. Where was his territory at? Do you
His
know?
territory is right here. So he's out of the Glenwood shop. He's at Eastman, Deacon. This whole area.
Well, I hope they do some patrol work on Ellington and some streets north of there. They had some pretty severe quick rains and there's a lot of ditches washed down the slopes of the hills. They gotta get the roads a little more hump in them, a crown. Early and the water cannot get. If it keeps doing like it's been doing with, we had 1.25 inches last night for 20 minutes.
We did, it was a good one.
I mean, that's a lot of water to move, so that's all I have.
Sure.
Okay, thank
Anything
you
else?
very much, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Joe George, Malvern City Clerk, discuss formal action resolution 2518 to approve inclusion of county property in Malvern urban renewal area.
I can do that.
Get a record, my name is Joe George. City, thank you. I have a couple documents for you this morning. So, under Iowa code, urban renewal law, there's a section that allows for cities to create urban renewal areas outside of its border if it exists within an extraterritorial agreement. We have an extraterritorial agreement with the county, and we are looking to, at some point expand the city limits, but for now, we are just looking to track
Get some control over it.
businesses. So 315th Street north of Malvern. We would like to put in a water main, 10-inch water main out there to service that area.
Nice.
Western Iowa Networks has, would like to build their $6.5 million facility. And so that'll be good for Malvern. That'll be about an 18,000 square foot facility.
Very good.
Decent. No current jobs It'll just be to satisfy their current needs. So a majority of that facility will be kind of warehousing. And then they will create a portion up front that could potentially be offices or be retail space in the future. So they're really just needing the warehousing space. They may do something different with it in the future, but
Good.
need a pushing off point. So as part of this, we're looking to expand our urban renewal area. You guys have a map there, and it looks like a great gerrymandered
A wonderful looking map.
so everything starting at West 11th Street is already within our existing urban renewal area. We are looking to go north. And the reason that that area was chosen is because it encompasses where that water line would be. Dorsey and Whitney, our bond council, recommended that we just tack on to the existing urban renewal area. And so you guys have 315th Street North, about 240 acre parcels north, and then 2 east off of 315th Street. And then Dollar General is in that as well. And the reason Dollar General is in that is because they will be satisfied by the
Water line.
So they currently have a water line. It is a 4-inch, very cheap material line at the corner of East 15th Street and Main, and it runs about a quarter of a mile north to their facility. One of the things that they wanted to do initially, which we told them they would not be allowed to, is add a fire hydrant out there by their facility, Dollar General. And because of the material of the line and the size, they wouldn't have adequate fire protection. So we did allow them to hook onto our system, but they're metered at city limits. And they have water line rigs because they use the cheapest material they could get their hands on, as allowable under our code. So that's why we've gone out and grabbed Dollar General as well. They have hit their full valuation, so they're multiple years in, so there's not really any TIF. There won't be much increment there, but we figured anything to help pay out that water line. So the TIF agreement that we're looking at with Western Iowa Networks is twofold. It would be for repayment of the water line, repayment of some city expenses that are going into developing that water line, and then developer incentive for Western Iowa Networks. Overall, we're looking at an 18-year TIF agreement. The city was very strategic about that, understanding that it is not best practices to do that close to the 20-year TIF limit. The reason that we were willing to do it is for two reasons. One, Western Iowa Networks has been a good partner in the community, overlaying fiber, and also their support of the Child Care Center and other nonprofits. But the other reason is that we were looking to attract a catalyst. So if we can get the water line built, get infrastructure out there,
And build it, they will come.
makes it a lot easier to get other people there. So we're looking at developing that corridor. On the east side is commercial along the street, and then maybe some light industrial back behind, or commercial and multifamily into residential, depending on what Malvern's needs are. Very far in the future.
Yeah,
So,
it'll happen sooner than you think.
do you guys have any questions?
I did not.
So one of the things that's required under Iowa code for this to happen is that the county has to give consent in the form of a resolution, which I assume you guys have read. I'll let you.
Thank you, sir.
Make a motion to approve resolution 25-18, resolution to approve inclusion of county property in the Malvern urban renewal area.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2518, approving the inclusion of county property in the Malvern urban renewal area. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call.
Sayers,
Aye.
Crouch,
Aye.
Avery.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Or do you say?
I do need to.
Should I get 2 originals?
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
I'm leaving
Joe.
for Spain tomorrow, so I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time visiting with you nice folks.
Have fun. You get those for me to sign, Amber?
Yeah, you're.
Us to sign. Thank you.
He's gonna need 2.
Travis Hitchcock with 911.
I wonder.
Great.
Keep that out of sight. All right, I've got a few. Invoice and then an estimate. It's kind of got the brief, summary and description. I can make one for you.
Oh my gosh, you're so kind.
It's highlighted. Down at the annex, we had an HVAC failure. It would have been the last week in June. So we called Apollo out, which they serviced the building for quite a few years. And they did kind of their investigative work. It was determined that the coil within the basement of the facility, not within the exterior unit, the coil has a blockage, which then once they started pumping through, it looks like it was freezing up. I did highlight, kind of their exact, statement. The evaporator coil is frosting up on the bottom right side, working its way up to the top and over the left side. The distributor off TXV, which that's going to be on me a little bit, is frosting up. Evaporator coil has a restriction in it. Coil and TBX need to be replaced. So it does sound like they kind of did like a temp kind of bypass on that. So it's kind of operating, which they kind of made note of. The unit is cooling, but it's not 100%. The technician basically said, on days where you might be in the mid 80s and it's not too bad, you'll probably see it doing its thing. It'll keep that side of the building cool. But on the days where we're in the 95s to 100s, it's going to fall behind, and you'll see, it'll be set at 72 or 74 on the inside, and it just won't be able to keep up. It'll slowly, increase throughout the afternoon hours, interior. With that, they quoted me on the replacement for the coil. Now that's kind of that next sheet there. And I think given that this is kind of a 20-year-old unit, that kind of contributes to the price of what this is. So you see that, $2,382. So I think with, being government tax, all that kind of stuff, that off there. But that's what it would be just for the part that is required to fix it. The technicians did make note, which is actually, highlighted on the next, page there, that given that this is kind of a 20-year-old unit, it has that which it's either a new federal law or an EPA standard, with the coolant type.
New refrigerant,
Yes, the new refrigerant. So that in the event that we go this route and pay for the piece of equipment, that if they cannot isolate the refrigerant in the exterior unit and it does leak out, we'll have to obviously put not new, but the new old refrigerant in, which their estimation was 9 to 10 pounds due to the run between the exterior and kind of that interior unit in the basement. And that runs, they estimated, or right around $250 a pound. So 9 to 10 pounds, we can kind of, it'd be another $2,500 in that. So we're close to $5 almost. With that information, I kind of asked, well, what are we looking at potentially, for just new, just to come out and just, what's it look like new? And that's kind of that third page there. For an entirely new system, now again, this is just on the AC. This isn't the full system replacement for furnace or anything like that. It was at $6,837.09. Again, kind of within the description there, that summary, they highlight, some of the things which more their subject matter expertise. But I wanted to bring that to your attention, and also state that this unit only services Patrick's old office, which is currently where emergency management resides, building and zoning, that part of the facility, just that section.
previous edition.
Yep. There is a unit that is the exact same age, that is the exact same, model as what services now public health. That, just to be aware of, we could have a piece or a part component of that start to fail. There is a third HVAC unit, which kind of the way that it looks like it's, set up services the entire basement of the annex. With what that one is, I would get, again, probably their recommendation, but that's probably very rarely used, maybe just for overall kind of climate control down there. That one doesn't operate very often, just to be in the basement.
So 7,000 to fix it and 13 to replace the whole thing.
7,000 to replace just the air conditioner. 13 to replace, the furnace just for that, portion of that section of the building. So that, again, that would be air conditioner and furnace and the associated components.
Sure.
I did not print that one off just because, the furnace seemed to be in good working order. We didn't, have any issues, but I can do that.
No, I just see your price over here. But-
Yep.
Good.
Yep. Again, it's kind of working on that tent bypass fix right now. They kind of, 30 days, maybe a month, 2 months, something like that.
We have to keep our buildings up.
Just said it, it's on hot notes, so.
If we just went with replacing the evaporator, that's when you said we might run into the situation where we also have to put in, replace the coolant. That'd be 250 pounds. Is that my understanding?
Yes, sir. They would have to, the way it was explained to me, they'd have to isolate the coolant on within the exterior unit or attempt to, right? And in the event that within that process, some leaked out, or they would have to put the new old, coolant in there. Yep. I think another thing, which, kind of like any of us, it's, when you got something that's, 20 years old, you start, if you pay for something today that costs you 2,500 or $5,000, and then tomorrow it's, that one was 600, and, starts nickel and diming.
Yeah, so in this exact.
So you're looking for $7,000, 683709, that you're asked.
Well, we paid, it is currently operational. I wanted to give you as much information as possible, to, kind of make an informed decision. Do we continue just letting it do its thing? Maybe it'll work throughout the summer to where, we can adequately plan, for the next, year. Is it something that is included within a budget? I don't know. I just wanted to get as much information as possible from a funding standpoint. How are we going to do it? That type of thing. Do we want to
So you
do
paid this,
both?
you paid this 2382 already.
No,
You did
no,
not
sir.
yet.
I paid for the $284 just kind of service fee for them to come out. They kind of got it temporarily fixed. I haven't done. No, I did not want to go that route, without bringing any of that, information to let you guys make a decision.
Well, we can play around with that old unit all the time, but I think we would probably end up replacing it eventually. Cause you start taking and making connections, new connections to old
You
connections,
fix it and get it over with.
and that's first place that it goes bad. And if you lose all the refrigerant out, have to buy it back. Another additive again.
What do you have in your budget for that?
Within the emergency management budget, which is currently where we're, kind of just taking the annual operating expenses out of, I think I programmed just $2,000 for heating and ventilation throughout the year. Just, kind of handle the, monthly expenses associated with it, So I don't have, 7 or 10 or 12 or anything like that,
Okay.
set aside for.
Right now you're working.
Right now it is operational. Yep. Yep. And we were, since, doing that, we really haven't, had the, 101 or 98-degree day and
Yeah.
to kind of observe it, but
And you say you have the 2,000 is in which account?
the Mills County Emergency Management Agency, which when we moved down there was kind of an understanding that we'll handle the, annual operating expenses associated with it. Which we kind of base that off of what Patrick and then IT and then also, public health were
Sure.
spending there before. It's just some of the larger expenses associated with the infrastructure, we just didn't program that Monday.
Well, we can get with Amber and see what we've got in our 99 or somewhere else. Yeah.
I mean, the years.
Absolutely. Okay.
Keep us updated, please.
Absolutely, will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We had made some copies.
Yes. And
Mini
those were,
splits on the training, the large, and then I believe in economic development, there's a mini split there.
You have a mini split too?
yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
the great collectively.
Yeah, they get cold.
Yeah, they won't run when it's negative. Okay. Next item on the agenda is to appoint a NACO representative.
I'll make,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to appoint Richard as Mills County's NACO representative.
I will second that motion. We've got a motion and a second to approve Richard Crouch as a Mills County NACO representative. Is there any discussion? Hearing that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Richard?
I
Let's
guess
all approve it.
I guess I can vote for myself. Aye.
What money you're gonna make? Okay, next item on the agenda is accepting a resignation letter.
Okay, so I've received a notice of a retirement from our custodian, Steve Poole. His last day will be on Friday, July 11th. Looking for acceptance of that retirement.
Don't accept it, will he stay?
No. I don't think
That's
he
what he
Sure.
told me this morning.
Yeah. He did not want a big deal made, so that's why I didn't have him come in here.
Sure.
I would make a motion to accept the resignation letter of our current custodian, Steve Poole.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the resignation letter of our custodian. Is there any discussion?
I'm just gonna say this, he has always stepped above and beyond. There's lots of things that he
Yes.
gets into and has covered for us and helped out on many different projects, you know, and he sees that things is pretty well taken care of. I get a lot of compliments on the yard out front and stuff, you know, the appearance, the courthouse. So he's been a great worker.
He'll be missed. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Consideration formal action, approval to advertise for vacancy.
So I will need to advertise for a vacant position. However, I would like you guys to consider allowing us to change the job description to be more of a facilities manager. And have a custodian and then a facilities manager whose main job will be to take on items such as air conditioning and other, just kind of help us take care of our facilities. So that way we're not having department heads have to go get air conditioning quotes, that there would be like a point person. And then
Yep.
also we could throw safety underneath them as well. So with your permission, I would like to create a job description for facility manager and bring it back to you next week.
And then not advertise for the vacancy right now? Good. I'm fine with that, as long as you put it on the agenda and you do it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So,
You
yeah,
want that in the form of a motion?
nope,
Okay.
Not yet.
All right.
Keep it tabled for now.
Yeah. that's fine. I just, we'll limp along for a little bit, but I think it's a perfect opportunity to kind of bring in that piece that I think we're missing. Have
Just have to go
somebody
through the
help us.
motions to
Especially with the safety.
create their job, so.
Yeah, we'll need
Need
that,
job
yeah.
description, so.
Okay. I'll try to bring it to you next week.
John on that if you can. Hey, Mr. Benz. Replacing the video surveillance server.
Yeah, so our surveillance cameras throughout the courthouse, been built to server needs to be replaced, upgraded to a newer model. And, software is feeding data as well. So I got a quote from Get Connection for $8,957.32, replacing the video server with a newer 4 terabyte Husky server from Milestone Systems. This is a budgeted scheduled replacement.
Thank you.
What was the total cost, Patrick?
$8,957.32.
I would make a motion to approve the quote for replacement of video surveillance server at $8,957.32.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Quote for replacement of video surveillance server for $8,957.32 through GovConnect. Is there any discussion? What'd you budget for this?
10,000.
10,000, okay, good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Right.
Aye. Go for it. You need to sign anything or?
Nope. No, that's fine.
Thank you. Amber, you are up. Consideration formal action, setting the date for the budget amendment public hearing.
So we met with Heidi Poole weeks ago, and she discussed the possibility of us being able to pay off one of our bonds early, therefore releasing some $10. So to do that, though, I'm gonna need to do a budget amendment to make the additional payment, and then there's some other things that are coming up. So I'm working on a budget amendment, and my hope was to have it ready for August, but with the publication deadlines, there's just no way that's gonna happen. So I'm requesting we set a public hearing for budget amendment number 1 for Tuesday, August 26th at 8:30 a.m. And I will get those figures worked out in the next couple weeks and get them to you guys for review. I'm still getting information from department heads. If there's anything else that needs to be added to that budget amendment.
26.
Yep, August 26th at 8:30.
I'll make a motion to set date for budget amendment number 1 on August 26th at 8:30 a.m.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the setting the date for the budget amendment public hearing of Tuesday, August 26th at 8:30 a.m. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I'll work with Heidi to see what the payoff would be to move it to like September. Because then the first meeting in August, we'll have to pass that resolution, that 30-day resolution. So this will give me time to kind of get my ducks in a row.
Good.
Make sure that we capture everything. So we'll probably end up doing, I mean, I think another budget amendment closer to January or
Sure.
February, but if I can get as much as I can this one, that would be.
Good. Perfect. Next item is resolution 2519, approving FY26 transfers.
Yep, these are transfers that were already in the budget, but we have to have a resolution showing that I'm allowed to do those transfers, and it's all the transfers into secondary roads.
I would make a motion to approve resolution 2519, approving FY26 transfers.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2519, approving FY26 transfers. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call.
Crouch,
Yes.
Mayberry,
Yes.
Sayers.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is discussion, possible formal action, hiring policy revision.
So I want to work through all the policies anyway. Many of our policies just need a little bit of updating. Started with this one, and the main changes in this one is going to be to the nepotism policy. It was not quite as robust as we would like it to be. When you work in a small community, you have to be really careful about who's working for who, and so that I beefed up that a little bit. I think I used like Pike County's worked off theirs a little bit, and then I ran it through Mike Galloway, and he approved of it. And then I also changed some things on our pre-employment physical and our reemployment policy. So I would like an action item, but if you guys want to review this for one more week and then bring it back, I'm okay with that too. It's up to you guys.
I've reviewed it. Would be okay with reviewing this one. It's supposed to be as well.
Has John looked at this at all or anyone?
No, we had Mike look at it.
Okay.
I don't think I sent it to you, sorry.
No, I saw the,
Yeah, that one I sent to you.
Well, I make a motion to approve the hiring policy revision.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the hiring policy revision. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Rich, you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear you, sorry.
Well, I was thinking of it. That's the question I'm going, this covers all the hiring,
Yeah.
all the departments and all the hiring of individuals, and they will all have to, okay.
Okay, so,
Next item is recording meetings.
In an effort to work on my meetings conduct policy, we also saw that we need a recording meetings policy just to kind of keep us, so that way we have a certain amount of people can assume what's gonna happen. So in your packet also was that one. I highlighted a couple areas because I wasn't sure. It states in here after 12 months, recordings will may be deleted unless there's pending litigation, but we upload ours, so we probably wouldn't delete those recordings, right, Patrick?
We don't delete them. Can't say that YouTube never would.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know if we need to reword that, number one, or just leave it as is, because it says it may, so I don't know.
I think that leaves the option open just in case YouTube do their whatever
Because I can add
policies.
subject to YouTube policies or something.
Yeah.
And then that way it would kind of cover us there.
Yeah.
And then the other one I highlighted on this one was that the policy that we kind of use to make this, it says a sign will be posted on the boardroom entrance. I don't know if you guys want to do that. We can definitely put signs up and say we're recording the meetings. But if not, we can strike that out of the policy.
I have a question, Amber. Meeting access options, the Board of Supervisors shall make all open Board of Supervisors meetings, informational meetings, regular meetings, public hearings available to the public in two formats, in person, electronically. Would that mean that moving forward, we adopt this, we would live stream our budget discussions?
And that would be a conversation, you guys. If that's something you want to leave in there, we can leave it in, or we can take it out. It's up to you guys. I forgot that part wasn't there yet. It would just depend on how you guys want to do it. This is another one that you guys want to look at it, make some changes. This is just a rough draft. John did approve it. But definitely make some changes to it or see how.
I would like to discuss it, or look at it, read it
Okay.
some more.
That's fine.
I agree.
Because once this is in place, then we'll start to make our transition over to Microsoft Teams.
Good.
So,
And get away from YouTube, so.
well,
We'll just post the videos after the fact on YouTube.
On YouTube,
So
okay.
they're just still there for
Since
archive, but
because we've been having issues with connectivity sometimes,
Yes,
so it's
yes,
trying to find something that's a little bit more
yeah,
reliable every day.
yeah.
With not having the Microsoft Teams system right now, this Friday, for instance, how would you like?
We can still do Teams.
We can still do
Yeah,
Teams?
yeah. We're just trying to, what we're gonna do is have a Teams town hall one for everybody to view, but we have Teams right now. So
Okay.
we can do that.
We'll table that for now and discuss it.
Just want it in your hands. And then once that's done, then I'll start working on our meeting conduct policy.
Perfect. Thank you. You're on it. Okay, Mr. Norman. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
Well, first of all, apologize, I didn't make it at the end of June, for an update. That was our annual meeting.
Yep.
And so.
Busy that day?
We, had a good meeting, I think. We had about 50 people, there. Debbie Durham, from Iowa Economic Development Authority spoke. Talked a lot about economic development and what the state's doing. One of the things they're really, doing is going to focus on our mega site. And promoting the mega site, and doing a kind of national campaign for that. So I think that's nice that the state sees the value of the mega site and promoting that as a valuable asset for the state of Iowa. So I think that's a good thing, to move that forward. We did have a couple projects that did come in and look at the mega site. Those are still out there. Haven't been a lot of movement yet. We did get a virtual kind of site visit on one of them. So continuing to work those, follow up and see what we can do for that. So, but I think that's positive for the area to see that activity on the site, which we haven't seen for a while. So that's a good thing. Faro, the annexation should be official today. I believe, and they did have the revised legal as part of that that went from the city board for review. So that is done and moving forward. The applications for incentives keep getting pushed back a little bit. Is just the company hasn't been able to move as quickly as possible for that. So they still are looking at that, still looking at an opportunity to come and update everybody on what that package is and how that's going to look. But so I think at least now it's probably in August from what I understand. Originally it was July, August. Should keep it pushed a little more. And everything's still looking good on that and moving forward. Cattlemen's continuing to have conversations with them, but again, nothing's going to happen with them this year at all. It's just kind of what it is because the cattle. They're not rebuilding the cattle herds. That's what's going to be that'll be the key thing that'll kick them off is that they see that number starting to get built back up. So, Feed Energy, again, talked a little bit about Kelsey Avenue. Had a call scheduled and got rescheduled, but they're looking at trying to do something, kick off something for their upcoming expansion that they're going to do. So, looking forward to that. I know there's been some chatter back and forth with Burlington Northern on the additional lines that they want to create there. So eventually we'll get something out. Hopefully it'll be some sort of event where we can have people come and attend and celebrate that and be able to see the facility and kind of what to do. Good. So that'll be a good thing. Highway signing, they took out the building permit there on Buggy Avenue, kind of on moving west. So talked with them once, tried to schedule another call with them to kind of get a good idea what all that they're looking at doing down there. My understanding is they're going to take their Council Bluffs facility and move it down. They just need more space to be able to do that. So I think that'll be good. Be a nice little addition down there, continuing to see growth in that particular area. So we'll have those conversations. Easy Way, which again was the Chinese company that was out of, I think, Gretna areas where they currently are located. A couple of years ago, they had bought that about a 21-acre piece of property on the south side of Bungie. They have reached out and are potentially talking about doing a bonded warehouse, which is kind of a warehouse, goes through the customs office at a Beckley airfield, and it's where you could take imported products, put it in there, and temporarily avoid tariffs until it's taken out or moved or whatever it is. So it's a way to kind of push that. Gonna have a conversation with them next week, I think, with the customs office to talk about how that's set up and moving forward. So they're talking a fairly sizable building down there. Yeah, will that happen? Will move forward? I don't know yet, but that's something that they're looking at that. And they would also have intermodal containers that they would store there as well. So be interesting to see how that moves forward and does that. So again, a lot of activity down there. The GRC campus. The power plant did shut down. That shut down on June 30th. And so a big effort was to make sure that the community school district and Glen Haven had utilities, direct from the providers. That's all done now. I think there's maybe one piece of equipment that the school district was waiting for from the power side. That actually should be this week. So it's looking good there. Big thing is now we have engaged architect engineers, so HCR is back and forth on a contract for us on an hourly basis. We should be dropping the RFQ for master developer. It'll be out for about 3 weeks and see what we can get. They will then help lead the redevelopment activities with the demolition of buildings, determining which buildings get demolished, which buildings have the potential to be used and rebuilt, doing utility spine, and just getting everything development ready with the goal of having all of them done by the end of 26. That's an aggressive timeline to do that. It's a year and a half.
Demolition done by 26.
Demolition and a new spine, new utilities put in. that would then make everything development ready, so then we could go out and do the request for development.
Question mark.
Yeah.
Would those buildings be, you know, somebody as our developer looked at them and somebody steps up and says, well, I'd like to have this building over here. Would it qualify for CDBG grants or not?
Very possible. So I think we would look at all potential forms of assistance, whether they be historic tax credits, you know, housing tax credits. You could do CDBG. So I think we'll look at everything. So that will be something where, and I'll just put this out as an example. So if we say, all right, the girls' cottage, we would like to see somebody redevelop that. So we would put that out for an RFP that basically says, all right, we're gonna put this out there. We'd like to see redeveloped. Here's kind of generally what we'd like to see. And then we throw that out there and see who responds, what they propose doing, how they propose financing it. We'll evaluate that financing to make sure that it's strong financing, that it's good financing. And it maximizes the value, if we can, back to the project. And then that could then get awarded to them, and then they can move forward with that development. So it'll be something where we'll kind of say, this is what we'd like to see, who's interested in doing it, how would you do it, how would you finance it? And we kind of let them kind of say, use CDBG, use tax credits, use tech to move forward. So, but I think we'll see some good interest moving forward. Now there is, next steps for us moving forward with that is got to do a topo survey, for the site to get everything really down so they understand, engineering from utilities perspective.
Big job.
A big job. And then the other thing will be an environmental assessment of all of the buildings. Determine, is there lead paint in there? Is there asbestos? Is there some chemicals in there? I was in the old hospital, and there was, in the pool area, there was a bunch of barrels of chemicals in there. Okay, those things, you have to be, looked at, right? How do you dispose of them properly? What's the best way to get rid of it? Is there any spills? There is a large, petroleum plume that has some environmental controls on there that we're gonna have to work around. See if there's enough dollars to do cleanup. It's probably pretty expensive, so maybe something that we'll have to work around. But you'll be able to have green space on top. You just won't be able to put pipes or build basement. So we've got the master plan. We'll update that as well to kind of adapt to everything. We've got some roads that are currently not necessarily, they're on the Burlington Northern right of way that we'll have to deal with. So a lot of little things there that we're gonna have to move forward with. But everything is on track moving forward, and we're excited to get it.
Good. Good.
With HER, so they're under contract hourly, you said? HER.
Yeah, it's an hourly not to exceed.
Is economic development paying for that, or is it Glenwood Redevelopment Corporation?
Glenwood Redevelopment Corporation.
Okay, so it's
So that's part of the reimbursable dollars.
okay.
So everything that we do, we've got to submit to the state. It gets reviewed, gets approved, make sure we've got appropriate bids in place. And then they'll approve it, then we're able to move forward. So we're not able to do anything without the state giving their blessing. Yeah. And so, and I think they're going to start later this fall on the roads, the new access roads from 34.
To get the land surveying done, archaeological on those roads, Richard?
I don't think they have to do a whole lot because all that ground that they're gonna be on has already been done back 30 years ago or more,
Yeah,
in the 70s.
Lashman was involved in some of that.
Right, and it's not a very, where they're going across that creek and stuff, it's gonna take a lot of fill. So, I don't think they have to do a whole lot of archaeological work in that area.
And they've done an
Cause that's
archaeological
pretty
review.
all
Yeah,
been redone
Yeah.
to get the road that's there now.
So from an engineering perspective, I don't know if they've done a whole lot yet, but
Cause the road that goes off of the, I don't know what the road goes, it goes to the underpass, so it'd be,
Peter Pan there.
but Indian Hills Drive, or you had it there on the, yeah, it comes around.
Oh, okay.
yeah, it'll come there and then swing off to the east. a
Yeah,
little
that
bit.
little horseshoe down here goes underneath the 34.
So the planning one there, and then I assume the one next to the railroad tracks
Right,
as well.
that's gonna open.
Okay, were they able to, last time I heard about the one next to the tracks, is that it wasn't wide enough or?
Yeah,
or
it's not wide,
something?
it's not wide enough for a normal 2-lane traffic. And then the biggest problem there is whichever way, well, going to your left there, back to the east, you got at least 2 lanes over here to get your speed up. Going west, you run into the railroad bridge and stuff as far as a entry lane, getting out into traffic. I think to me, it's one of the most hazardous roads they will develop in southwest Iowa. Because the traffic on 34 runs about 75 miles an hour.
Speed limit's only 65, Richard.
Well, sorry to say.
It goes 80.
Sign up, right? That'll stop them.
Yeah, the state says it's increasing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you can be running 70 miles an hour and, they can pass you with semis, buses, they just go right on around you, so.
Just gotta go with the flow of traffic.
Yeah,
Good to see you moving forward.
I'm trying to decide which lane is slow though.
Correct.
No, it'll be nice when they get that one, or get an entryway into it, things, it'll help out a lot.
How about this Camp Peter Pan? Are they gonna?
That goes to conservation.
Yeah, I knew that, but they can't get to it though. We're
Well-
gonna stay open.
Yeah, that little horse, or that little, right there,
Yeah.
that's where they're gonna connect the new road to, up there at the top. No, down just a little bit, Lonnie, where it just starts, make its curve around like
Uh-huh.
this. That road's gonna go at an angle off towards 34 there.
We still be able to get under
Yep.
under here.
Well,
Okay.
that's my understanding.
I think the intent is to still provide some access. Now, it may not be road, maybe just a trail. Access is fun to driving, but
Well, they can't drive down there currently. You gotta stop there anyway, so you can't get underneath the bridge. I know, on another note with that, we've been trying to figure out how to get that building down, conservation at the pond, at the lake. But state of course won't let us burn and bury it, and then we don't know how we're gonna be able to get it out underneath. So if you have any ideas, Lonnie, feel free to let us know.
But you're not going through the archaeological piece.
Nope. It's gonna be a tough thing to get out.
so anyway, moving forward with that. So
Good.
a lot of progress there.
Good.
Last thing is, we're able to meet with Jack and talk a little bit about economic development structure and kind of what you guys as supervisors would like to see. So I'd like to try to set up a time. with
Absolutely.
you, Richard, as well, just to have that conversation and just say, hey, what is it that you guys expect? What would you like to see? What can we do better? How can we improve communication? Just to make sure that, that things are, everything's jiving with what you guys would like and how we're doing things. So we'll be reaching out and hopefully we can get some of that scheduled here for next month. So,
Let me know.
We had a very productive meeting and,
yes.
I enjoyed it and
Yeah.
hopefully something comes to fruition.
Yeah.
So,
Any questions?
I don't have any.
Project Pharaoh, I see the land up there is pending, so they haven't actually bought the piece of ground.
They haven't purchased it yet, but they basically the intent is to do that. So I think once they actually apply for incentives and get the approval, and that's probably the last piece that they would need to do this.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
Next item on the agenda is consideration formal action, setting the date for accounts payable meeting.
We've been talking about this, but I wanted to do a formal motion to set that accounts payable meeting for, Friday, July 11th at 8:15, and I can set out a Teams meeting. I just want to make sure I've got. Yeah, that's all we'll need to do.
Yeah, I should be on that.
All in.
Yeah, I'll either be with Jack or call in myself,
Okay.
being we're gonna be out there.
I'll send out information.
Do you want a motion?
Yeah, please do,
Yeah.
just to formalize it.
Yep.
Make a motion to set date for accounts payable meeting for July 11th at 8:15 a.m., 9:15 Eastern Standard Time.
Second,
We have a motion and a second to set the accounts payable date meeting on July 11th at 8:15 a.m. Is there any discussion?
you can't be late, Lonnie.
I can't be out. I'll be the one here.
I'll be here.
All those in favor, yeah, with Amber. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Look at that. So,
Motion carries. Item on the agenda is discussion formal action evening meetings.
Make a motion to approve having evening meetings once a month at the Mills County Annex Building at 6 o'clock at night, first Tuesday every month, going forward indefinitely.
Good. Got a motion on the table.
I'm just kind of, the last three meetings, we've had, anywhere from 2 to 3 people for the public show up. We have some of the same people here, which I'm glad to see. It puts a burden on some of our officials that have to make the meetings and stuff, they put in their 8 hours of work at daytime and then they have to spend an hour or so in the evening making sure, and then still getting home.
Yeah, it's definitely a pain for Jake.
I'll second the motion just to get us off and running or whatever.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
At that first meeting, we had roughly around 50 people for the night meeting. A lot of people were pretty excited about it. Since then, we've had a pretty good showing, in my opinion. Of course, when we had one last week, we had 2 things on the agenda. It was a holiday week, so only 3 or 4 people came up. But before that, usually it's at least around 10. We've had to do some moving around. You 2 were at ISAC once, I believe, on one of the meeting nights, so we had to do some moving around for that, and then we had weather another time. I think it's in the county's best interest to do this, in my personal opinion. We live stream our meetings, and I think that's great for awareness, but the point of these meetings were for public participation. I think we have quite a few people who go and participate ever since we've been live streaming the meetings, ever since we've been having these night meetings. In my opinion, in my view, after paying attention to county business for a while now, I think more people are becoming aware. I think that's a good thing. I think it benefits us. When I go to ISAC, I speak with people, supervisors from other parts of the state. We're one of the very few counties that do a night meeting once a month. We're one of the only counties that do a night meeting once a month. But when you talk to other supervisors, they're pretty amazed at the idea, and they think it's a good idea. Supervisors, according to census.gov, we make, for our work, the average salary of residents in Mills County. And of course, Lonnie, you're a land surveyor, Richard, you're a farmer, and I'm a college student. Just for our work, we make the average salary of people in Mills County. I think it's worth it. County department heads don't get overtime. It's at no additional cost for the county. I think it's a good idea.
Well, and I've even had people walk up to me and say, well, you know, if you put more things on the agenda than just a couple of items and things, well, I says, that's what people bring to us. What do you do?
You can't make
I mean,
stuff up.
yeah, we have a slate here today, but a lot of this had to be done today to get for what next week's stuff.
It depends on the week.
Right, and, you know, even the paper guy walked up and says, well, Richard, you, really should put more things on the agenda to make it interesting. I'm going, well, we can't make up things, folks. I'm sorry, but, you know, I guess that's about all I got to say. You got anything, Lonnie?
Yeah, live streaming has really opened it up, and I think people are more aware and more involved, and they have access to what we're doing and seeing. So I just don't think the participation has been that great. Really, all I have on it.
I'd like to request a roll call vote, please. Whenever- I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve evening meetings, first Tuesday every month at 6 p.m. indefinitely. Is there any other discussion?
I wouldn't say indefinitely. I think that, this is the way I would look at it. I sat here and thought about, you know, the meetings and stuff are fine, but when we get into winter months here, you know, I'm gonna say from November through maybe March, we should alleviate those months because we never know what the weather's gonna be, even for us to travel in. You know, maybe not have them then on those months, or put something in there that according to what the weather is, you know?
I'd be open to, yeah, that one time, I think it would have been in March. When we had one of those storms.
Yeah.
We canceled it that day and had it in that morning.
You know,
So,
and, you know, we've canceled things here. We've shut the courthouse down during the day. It might be on a Tuesday, the storm moves in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and, hey, folks, we think you need to go home. Well, I don't care to bundle back up, and I don't think you're wanting to drive 60 miles in a snowstorm to a meeting. So I think we should address that. I don't think, you know, I don't see anything wrong with it. Saying from November through March of, not holding meetings. Can we make that in part of the,
The motion on the table is indefinitely every Tuesday.
you know, can we amend that motion or something, or?
we can amend the motion. I'd be open to amend the motion to say, indefinitely pending weather or any other conflicts.
We would still have them every month unless it was weather.
Unless it's weather, or once again, whether you have an ISAC conference or something of that nature.
Yeah, I'd be able to do a quarterly thing or something like that.
You know, I mean, they can watch us on the screen and things, you know, but, I'm even thinking about the people that wanna come to the meeting, you know, it's sub-zero weather, and maybe the elderly people get out, you know, maybe we got something on the agenda that somebody really wants to speak about. And so, you need to, you're gonna change your motion, you want?
You amended the motion to have the evening meetings continue the first Tuesday each month at 6 p.m. indefinitely pending weather or any other conflicts.
I'm all right with that.
So you're seconding the amendment.
I'll roll call that one as well.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call.
Sayers,
Aye.
Crouch,
I'll go with aye. Guess we can always battle this out later.
Mayberry.
No. Motion carries. Any new business?
Next week.
Yeah, what are we doing next week
Oh,
on the 11th?
No.
You won't be back, will you, Jack?
You won't either, you know. I'll be on a flight
on the 15th?
on the 15th, so
I get back at noon.
we could do it on the 16th. No, you have that, you have a demo that day, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a demo all day.
17th. I mean.
Do we have accounts payable or anything that week, or can we?
I've got some other stuff that we're gonna have to start doing.
Well, let's shoot for Thursday then, that Thursday, the 17th. You're on the right month there.
Yeah.
That work?
I'll make it work.
All right with you, Jack?
What day?
The 17th?
Be 15.
You, I mean, you okay with it, Lonnie?
Yeah,
You're the
Yeah.
chairman of this. I
I'm
mean,
pretty flexible. Works for me. So not Tuesday, the 15th.
okay, you want a motion in that?
No, there's no
Move.
action item on it, Richard,
Okay.
so.
I'll make it.
All right,
And I can put it as an action item on our accounts payable one on Thursday or on Friday too, if I want to.
I guess my only question on that Friday, do Richard and I have to have our computer there and get on Teams to the county website, or if we
No.
have one on our phone, or
You
how
should
how do
probably
we?
use your phone. I'll have
I'm
Patrick
just
send
gonna
out
use my
a,
phone.
yeah, Patrick can send out a link to Teams.
If I have a Microsoft account. I don't think I could do that
I
subscription.
don't know, you'll have to.
I think you have to.
I think your county,
Oh, your county website stuff should lead in.
Have to use my computer.
you may have to set up a password.
Yeah, okay. I don't have anything else.
Me neither.
Make a motion to adjourn at 9:21.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn at 9:21. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
All
Aye.
right,
Aye, motion carries.
hey, Mr. John? Did you get my, message I sent you about that opioid? Did it come through or not? Is that something we're eligible for or not?
I can explore the other one of it.
Okay, well,